Welcome back. We are here with AJ, an artist of 8 years. AJ, how are you doing today, man?
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's super exciting to be with you right now, and I'm glad for this podcast show. And I can't wait to get on everything that we need to do.
Yes, I'm so excited to chat. It's awesome to have you on. We met over a year ago, so it's awesome to have you on. And so you started creating art over 8 years ago. How did this art journey begin for you?
I was about entering the university, so I came to the university here in the western part of Nigeria because my brother also was in that same university. And then when I came, he courted me, like I stayed with him while writing the exams. And then I saw him drawing, and I saw that he got paid for drawing, for taking a commission
Yeah.
piece for a community in the school there. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I think I need to jump on it. So I knew I could draw because I was good in my secondary school. My higher education. And I felt like, you know what, I need to give it a trial. So I started doing it. I stayed consistent, and then I became good over time. So that was where the whole thing started from.
Yes, yes. I love that story. And I love kind of how you saw your brother doing it and it inspired you and, really kicked your butt to be like, let's go do this. And at what point in your life did you know that you had talent as an artist?
Okay, I think it was when I was in my primary school in Nigeria. There's one called primary school. Primary school is a period where you go to school when you're just a child. It's from like age 3 to like age 12 or something. So we used to do there's what we call, is it theater arts and then agriculture, home economics. In my school, we study home economics then when we were in primary school. So our teachers would give us things to do. She'll ask us to go mold. When you mold clay, use clay to
Yeah.
mold
Yep.
pots. Yeah, you mold plates, you mold different kind of things. So when she gave us the assignment, and then I went home and I told my brother I think I need his help. So my brother supported me, and we came up with making a very good ancient pots used locally in Africa, and that was super good. And then when I went to school, we submitted, and then I got, I think, 10/9/8, 9/10, and I was like the highest then in my primary school with that score. And I was just happy. I knew, okay, I think I have something artistic. So now I didn't really define the art journey at that point. What I did was, it was when I got to my secondary school, then I drew a Tom and Jerry. Yeah, I painted it colored. I was in my second year, my secondary school, which is I think A level, right? Yeah. So it was during that time that I drew that Tom and Jerry, and I was like, wow, I think AJ, you're good with this. So that was what inspired me when um in my higher education, I picked art as a subject, among all other subjects that I was doing. So I picked art. I felt like, I have to be doing this. I never knew I was going to do art as a professional thing in
Yeah.
my life. So I was super excited about it, really.
And what has been your favorite drawing that you've created so far?
My favorite drawing that I've created so far is, oh my god, there are two, there are more than one. I think there are more than one. It's I would say Gilly, which has been sold. My mom was the muse for Gilly. She was the part one, and it sold when I just came into NFT space. That was the first thing that got sold. Then the second thing that got sold was paper, paper one. Yeah, paper one. For me, those concepts and ideas are part of me. For example, the Gilly is talking about the way women tie their hair tie, the hair tie naturally here in Africa. So it's just symbolizing that hair tie,
Yeah.
that the covering on their hair. And so it's unique. When I saw my mom wearing, I was like, Mom, I think I need to do this.
Yeah.
So I had to jump on that concept. I took a shot of her, and then I did it. And then the paper series uh, was inspired by the fact that the economy, I discovered that everybody's just about money. Nobody's really about people uh, living right. People, everybody's just selfish in a way. Some people, I would say some, but everybody's selfish in one way or the other. So I was trying to just pass a message where it talks about curbing, you know, that selfishness in a way. So that's how those two series, those
Yeah.
are my best because they became series. So I wouldn't say a drawing in the series. No, I would just say the series, the paper and the gilly. Those are the
Okay.
two so far that I love.
Yes, yes, those are really, really good ones. And why did you decide to go the pencil charcoal route versus another type of art form?
Okay, the reason was because number one, I fell in love with charcoal drawing. You know, I've been in spaces where collectors just tell me some things like, "Oh my god, I just love the way charcoal pops on the paper. You know, the paper is white, charcoal is just popping and
Yeah,
standing out. I just love it." That's one. And I fell in love. There was this lady that is like a mentor. She, she's good. She's good with the charcoal. So I decided to follow up. I decided to, just try charcoal. Before I used to do practically everything. I
yeah,
do practically everything I do. But I decided to just specialize because I discovered that it's good for people to come to my page and know me for something. For example, if you're calling 10 artists and you go to my page and you see me doing color, you see me doing pen, you see me, you can pick me. If you're calling artists from different, which am I going to represent? I'm not going to
yeah,
represent anything because I'm just doing all random. So if I stick to the charcoal and represent myself with the charcoal, you're going to call me because I do charcoal.
yes.
And then you call someone that does paint. So it's always good for me to specialize. I like it that way.
Yes, and I think, growing that brand around being a charcoal artist or a pencil artist is really smart because, like you said, you're going to be known for doing that. It's going to be your brand, and then people are going to come to you for that specifically, and you're going to be sought after for that. And before you start a drawing, what is that creative process like?
Okay, before I start a drawing, it's always very challenging. A lot of people don't understand that coming up with an idea, oh my god, it's very very hard because you want to be unique. You want to come up with an idea that somebody hasn't done, so people can know you for it because they'll be like, for example, the Mona Lisa. During his time, nobody was doing that. So
Yeah,
he came up with that idea. So you want to always think and come up with something different, something unique to keep you in the game. Because when you're unique, you'll always be in the game. So, so first of all, it starts with me thinking. I had to think of what I want to do, and then I had to get somebody. I had to call somebody on my DM. Hey, maybe a friend, hey, what's up? I have a new concept that I really want to do. Can you help me? We don't really talk about money at first, but can you help me?
yeah,
So the condition is that when it sells, yeah, I can compensate you. Even if it doesn't sell, I sell any piece at all, I'll just compensate you for that piece that so you don't feel like you wasted your time, you know. So when we reach that point of agreement and we understand each other, because it's my friend, they don't really think about charging me or so, you understand. So
yeah.
they just come and want to do it for me, and then I take the pictures with my photograph, and then I get the best out of it, and then I grid my papers, and then I start sketching, and then produce the drawing. That's how it works.
Yes. And if you had the opportunity to collaborate with any other artist in like any other genre in the world, who would that be?
Oh my god, I don't know if you know him, but uh, Kelvin Okafor and Arinze Stanley. Those are the two people that I always look up to. Like, I'm like, oh God, one day I really want to be there. Like, I just want to get there. So if I want to have the opportunity to collaborate, those are the two people. And one is in Nigeria, and the other is in UK. I don't know if he has relocated, but he used to be in Nigeria.
That's awesome. Yeah. And to kind of switch to the personal a little bit, you have a scar on your hand and your chest. Could you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Okay. This car started when I was small. I got fried by a peanut oil. My mom was cooking, and then I think she called me to actually, bring down a pot of oil from this cooking stove
Yeah.
or gas or something. So I took it bare hand, like with my bare hands. So the pot was very hot, so it burnt my hands, and then I left one side of the pot. The oil just poured on my
Oh,
body,
geez.
and then so when it poured on my body, I went crazy. I mean, I went practically crazy. I mean, that was the most. It's an event that I can never forget in my life because the sky is with me right now.
Yeah.
So I because the funds were not really much available, my mom couldn't take me to an hospital because I believe it wouldn't have developed into these scars that I have now. So we had to go to a local herbal person or something to do some kind of local stuff anyway. So that's how they treated it. And then it wasn't really a scar then until my hand had to stick up to each other like this. This is how practically my handle was for like 6 months or
Wow.
going to a year. So they had now rather than taking me to the hospital because there was no phone, there were no phones. They called the same local person to have, and then they called people to practically hold me down and then stretch the hand. It was more like my hand started growing this way, and then they stretch. It was like they were cutting my hand without a surgical process or procedure. I everywhere was full of blood. Like it was crazy. It's an experience that
Wow.
I don't really want to always remember. But I wish it was now. I could have gotten a proper medical stuff, but it's a lesson learned.
Yeah,
It's part of
that
life.
sounds insanely painful.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you went through that, and then now you're like an artist, and you use your hands a lot, and so you look back and you're like, wow, I'm so
Exactly.
grateful that I fixed it and that happened. Um, you've also been on a health journey for the past couple months. What kind of sparked you to say, okay, I want to start to take my health more serious?
Okay. This was it. I was trying to trick this car. If you go to my Instagram or Twitter page, if you load it down, you'll see pictures where these cars were not actually this flat. They were still large. Kilowatt cars, how they could be bigger.
Hmm.
So I was tempted to actually treat it, and then I called a friend of mine, which is a pastor, and a friend of mine was my pastor, and he was also a doctor. So I told him that I started this treatment when I was in the north, so I think he should come and help me continue this treatment. You know, rather than just going to the hospital and wasting money that I don't really have
Yeah.
like that. Let me put it that way. So he came and he started injecting, canal injections here and there, and then uh, within that period, I started getting so fat. I mean, I started adding weight.
Yeah.
I added, I think, I would say 30 pounds because I
Wow.
became 90 kg or 82 kg or so. I normally used to be 65. So now the thing is, I didn't feel sick. I became thirsty. I was drinking 24 bottles of water in a day, like drinking a lot of sugary drinks. I didn't have that experience. Despite the fact that my brother was a doctor, I never told him that this was happening. Maybe he would have said, "This is,
Yeah.
told you something." Yeah, giving me the slight rescue. You remember I told you we're not really on good terms because of what I'm doing. You get. So so I didn't really tell him that this was us. So I had to call my mom. My mom came around, started treating, started taking care of me. I was tasty of everything. I want to eat rice. I want to eat beans. I just want to take everything every time. I started getting dried. I dried up to like 50 kg. Like I totally dried up. The weight that I thought I had dried up. So
Yeah.
I don't know that that's how crazy it could be when you don't receive treatment for sugar problem. So she came around, took care of me until one fateful day. I think it was getting worse. My mom was crying, and then he had to call my brother. And then my brother wanted to. I didn't tell my brother as well. So my brother wanted to do video call with me, and then he did video call with me. And he was like, "Wow, can't you see you're looking at someone that has HIV right now? You're dry. Everything is dried up." come on, go to the hospital. I've caught somebody. He said he was like, he has caught somebody somewhere, a doctor somewhere. Go and meet the person right now. So they took me as an emergency patient because I felt like if it had extended that there, I could have died. So they took me in, and then I now told them, because we don't know if it was the drug that caused it, or it was the food or the
Yeah.
sugar that caused it. So we don't know. So I always say it was during that period I was also taking the injection that the whole thing happened. So I can't properly say it was the drug. You understand? So,
Yeah.
and it could be because drug can alter your system sometimes. So we went to the hospital. I told the doctor what happened. So they now said maybe the drug triggered the sugar level and made my BP and all that rise. So I browsed online while I was in hospital. I saw that yeah, it's possible that when you're injecting yourself to make your skin flat, to make the keloid flat, there's possibility that your BP can rise, your sugar can rise. So, well, I stayed in the hospital for like I think 3 weeks or a month plus. Yeah, I was starved of food for 3 days. They were just giving me drip, a lot of water, to fill in the things that I've lost and all that. So I was not able to walk before. So gradually, after the 3 day water process processing my body, I was now able to walk. I could
Yeah.
leave, but I couldn't walk for so long. I couldn't carry my body for so long. So I started getting better. My blood was now stabilized, but I was still having spike here and there sometimes when I ate. So I left the hospital with all the insulin and all that, and then I came home, and then my mom left when I started getting better to do things myself and all that. I became better. So I think I started going on YouTube. I had seen you advertise or talk about the fact that you guys are doing exercise, but I didn't really know what the reason was for.
Yeah.
I was looking for something that can actually heal me because I didn't tell you guys that that was what I was going through. I was going through a sugar problem or something. So I started going on TikTok, and then I started watching Barbara O'Neill clips. I think she's very popular, and then some other dietitians and doctors, majorly white. I don't know, TikTok, the algorithm were just bring. It was more like the algorithm were just bringing those topics to me. I think most of the ones you repost, yes, on TikTok, I've watched it. So they were just talking about it, how you need to exercise more, fast
Yeah.
more, and all that. Okay, I said okay. So 6 months ago, I started a challenge. So I was doing it, and then while doing it, I started discovering that the economy of Nigeria wasn't stable. I started spending more on drugs. What I used to buy for like $10 became like $40 all of a
Wow.
sudden. So it was now expensive for me to afford. So I started exercising, and then my blood 6 months coming down, my blood started getting, no matter what I eat, even despite that I inject myself insulin, the blood still remains within almost close to the normal range. Then I felt like it seems like my pancreas to myself. I said to myself like it seems like my pancreas started picking up. Yeah. So I started exercising the more. Then I went to the hospital for my fasting glucose check. I discovered that it was within the normal range. Wow. I was like, wow. So exercising, fasting, and all those things were really helping me. Then I started doing it. January this year, I just threw away all my drugs. I packed
Nice.
everything up. I just got because Barbara only taught me very well. She was not really she was teaching me, but she was saying it as a TikTok program. So I was learning because she was like insulin. I really don't need insulin. Like those things can cause harm to me in the nearest future and all that.
Yes.
Because I started seeing the side effect. I started having some kind of skin problems. I discovered a doctor once mentioned is that is it the insulin that is causing this? So I just threw away all this drug. I started exercising. My BP came normal all of a sudden. Wow. My sugar came normal. In as much as I can't say it's super normal, but it's way within the range of normal when you wake up fasting glucose below 100, after food below 140, it's just within the normal range. You
Yeah.
understand? So that's how I knew that I conquered it. Then I started doing the eating once a day as my lifestyle. Once a day,
Yes.
my insulin can handle it way better. And then that's how it happened. And I'm super excited that I'm here because before I was so fat.
Yes. And
I added so much weight.
it's
I
very
think now,
exciting to hear that,
now,
you took it serious.
Yeah, yeah. Now I weigh like 67 kg from 82. So that was really great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really really exciting that you were like, I have a problem, let's get it fixed, and you, I mean, TikTok's a gem, and you find so many good things on there and so many little tidbits of knowledge. So it's really really exciting. To see that you were like,
Yeah.
let me take my health serious. Let's get this fixed. I have one more question for you. If you could have dinner with two people, one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Come again, please.
If you could have dinner with two people,
All right.
one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Okay. Um, for all it was, oh my god, I have more than two, man. Oh my god. Now, sorry, I want to get the question very well. Now, from the
Yes.
past, you mean from the past, you mean the person is late?
Yes. Yep. Like dead, like he's dead. And I mean, this can be anyone from the past, anyone that you want, if it's in the 1900s or it's during Jesus's time.
Okay. I would say my dad because he died when they gave birth to me, so I don't know him really. So I would say my dad because I would love to have dinner to tell him a lot of my struggles, like because I feel if he was alive, I think I would have had things easier, you know. So I would say my dad from the past, and then from the present. Um, to be honest, I have a lot of people, but it's difficult to pick one. So I would
First
say the
person that
person
comes to
that
mind.
the person that comes to mind when it comes to dinner. Oh, there are two. There are two. I really can't separate
Okay.
them.
All right. Who are they?
Okay, from the NFC space, to be honest, I always feel like they really tried for me. So it is Lean Boyle and Machu Bonsteta. Those two people, uh, the Lean came in when I was sick. The things he did came in when I was sick, so it helped me through it. And then Machu came in when I I uh, I was becoming a professional artist when I never had a studio. I was just drawing randomly, you know. But with the help of Matthew, I was able to settle down, um, get a home studio. He bought me the camera, like he bought my work and asked me to get a camera, you know, to just go professional. So people who supported my course, to be honest, I've always said it. If I have money, one day I'll fly around and see these guys again. So those are the two people that, to be honest, when it comes to the Web3, they were so compassionate enough to understand that Africa is not really, really good, you know. So those were the two, yeah.
Well, AJ, that's all the questions I have. How can people find you, and what do you want to leave people with?
They can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. It's your guy, Ajadudraws. You can search Ajadudraws or AJ. Yeah, AJ on TikTok is easy. On Facebook, Facebook has my full name. So let me say my full name now. My full name is God's Time. My name is God's Time. My surname is Ajadu. So I just picked the Ajadu as, you know, the artist name and, you know, added a little draws there. So to make it Ajadu Draws. So that's it. Anyway you search, you'll definitely see my name there.
Awesome. Boy, AJ, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Great conversation, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ethan. I really, really appreciate it. You're not doing really bad yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, AJ.